Alright, so what's going on? This is going to be my first video, a long little fly along. I'm flying the Boeing 777. We are in Honolulu, Hawaii. We will be doing a short, unrealistic flight to Lahui, Kauai. Flight time, not too sure exactly. Kind of guessing, but it should be around 30 to 45 minutes. But I'll cut out all the boring stuff for you guys. But yeah, we got everything up here. We got the baggage trucks doing their thing, loading absolutely nothing, because I don't think we're gonna have any baggage weight today. We're just gonna go ahead and hop in the cockpit and get all the autopilot and the nav stuff rolling. Let's go ahead and get rid of all this stuff too, since our engines are on and we don't need to worry about it anymore. Disclaimer as well, I am very much a novice and I'm just a fanatic, so I'm all about learning and getting better. So we're just in it for the experience at the moment. Let's see, we got that enabled. We will do a pushback here in a minute. I just want to double check and make sure I get everything out of the way. I just kind of had that stuff there because I was going to clip it for a thumbnail, to be honest. Alright, let's hop out the cockpit and double check and see if everything is alright. Looks like we're good to go. Let's go ahead and hop back in the cockpit and get ready. Alright, so we're gonna get all this autopilot stuff ready to go. Let's go ahead and pop up the map as well so we can kind of get a picture of what we're looking at here. So let's see. We are most likely going to take, let's see, we'll figure it out when I get to the route manager, because I don't know too much. I should, because I fly this goddamn simulator so much, but let's see, we'll get this put over here. We'll get this right here. There we go. Okay, so that's having us take off at runway 4, right? That is perfectly fine with me. We'll go ahead and do that. Just go ahead and do the default SID. Go ahead and do runway 35 for the approach, because I know that's a good approach for Lahui. Is it gonna make me? Oh, it's gonna make me do this. I'm gonna do a default approach. None. I just click that to get it out of the way. We're gonna cruise. I usually do around 280 because I only go at around 11 flight level 110 to 150. Today, let's see. Let's just do 110. That should be solid. Should get us to where we're going. I'm not trying to be super semi. That's my goal eventually. I just gotta learn all that stuff. But yeah, so it looks like, let's go ahead and back out on this and see how this is looking. Looks pretty solid. We're gonna go ahead and activate, and that's gonna load that up into our computers. Alright, let's go ahead and set this altimeter. I'm just gonna zero it out just to make things even. Leave it right about there. Awesome. Let's go ahead and plug all this stuff in. We'll be taking off on runway 04. Cool, we're gonna go ahead and we'll arm that there just for now. Cool, seems like that's good. We'll go ahead and click LNAV on that just so it knows whenever we go ahead and click on our autopilot. Alright, let's go ahead and taxi on out of here. Seems like we are good to go. Let's see, push back. Let's go ahead and connect that pushback. And then we're going to do an auto push. We're going to enter our route. Let's see where we at. We want to go. So that's 04. Let's go ahead and taxi on out over here. Hopefully he lines us up well enough. We'll put just an extra one right there just for love. Cool, so we're gonna go ahead and disable that parking brake and we're gonna get rolling. Cool. Sorry for the really shitty frame rate. My computer's just absolute garbage, so we're just gonna have to deal with that for now. Just checking lights and stuff like that. Everything looks good. Seems like we have engine power. We're gonna cruise out of here at 220 to start, and then we'll slowly increase to 280 as we get to our cruising altitude. Oops. We'll go ahead and set this. Oops. We'll set this for 1600. So everything lines up. Seems like we're about to get rid of the pushback. We'll make sure to disconnect and not accidentally take off with it connected. Seems like we got lined up pretty well, surprisingly well. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start our taxi out of here to runway 04. We'll assume that we got clearance. Go ahead and take a look from outside the cockpit. Got a plane landing in the background, not too sure what it is, but that's pretty cool. I usually don't have the AI traffic on just because of the lag, but we'll run it this time and see how it goes. If it's just too laggy, then I'll end up just disabling it, not using it anymore. Yeah, so we're back inside the cockpit. Everything is looking good so far. And if you couldn't tell, we are on a Boeing 777 freighter. This is obviously not a realistic flight. These are more known to be intercontinental flights. The 777s, we're known for being the longest range airliner from what I know, or from what I've heard. I wouldn't quote me on anything. I'm not too knowledgeable on it. I'm just, like I said earlier, I'm very fascinated about aviation, and I fly sim quite often. And I figured might as well make videos if I'm just sitting around doing nothing. Might as well. If I think it's cool, someone else will think it's cool, maybe. No, but if you are watching, thank you. This is gonna be my first video if it makes it up. We're just taxiing on out to the end of runway 04, and then we'll be departing, going towards Lahui in Kauai, Hawaii. I don't know if any of you guys have been to Kauai, but it is a very, very nice place. Been there a couple times recently, and it is absolutely beautiful. We are coming up on runway 04. We are going to hold short and make sure everything is good to go. If I could stop in time, it's a little bit past the hold short mark, but we'll go ahead and set our parking brake. Oh, I guess, yeah, it's a little bit far. I don't think the FAA would like that too much, but we'll go ahead and look and make sure no one else is coming, since I did enable the AI traffic. Looks like we're good to go, so we'll go ahead and hop back in the cockpit and set flaps to 5. Make sure the auto throttle is armed. Looks like everything is good to go. Flaps are down. Let's go ahead and double check no one's spawned in. Cool, looks like we are good to go. Let's go ahead and release that parking brake and make our way out and line up on runway 04 right. Alrighty, we are getting lined up. We're gonna go ahead and press on the brakes. Go ahead and double check, make sure we got flaps set 5. All the autopilot stuff looks good. We got our stuff plugged into our nav. Altimeter is set. Cool. Let's go ahead and give her some pepper. Throttles are up. Rotate. Have a positive rate, so we're gonna go ahead and slap that gear up. Cool, now that we're in the air, we could go ahead and engage that autopilot, and that should set us on track. We'll also engage that auto throttle. And then that should put us on track. Let's go ahead and climb a little bit more, just because there's these mountains. I want to make sure we're a safe distance away from them when we go ahead and make our turn up here. So let's just double check and verify that the gear is up. And the gear is up. Gotta love them FlightGear graphics, am I right? Alright, so it looks like everything is good so far. We're gonna go ahead and bring in those flaps. Now that we brought in those flaps, let's go ahead and increase our speed to 240. We are under flight level 10,000. 10010. My bad. So we're going to keep it under 250 knots until we get to 11,000 at our cruise altitude, and then we will proceed to 280 knots. Get it lined up for a outside shot flying over Oahu. With the FedEx Boeing 777 livery, the Panda Express livery. I've been rocking this one lately. It's been a favorite. Just realized that my landing lights are still on, so let's go ahead and hop back in that cockpit and turn those guys off. Sweet. Cool, taxi's light is off. Everything is looking good. And we are just above 10,000, so we'll go ahead and increase that speed to 280. Alright, and we are at our cruising altitude of 11,000 feet. We have reached 280 knots. Everything looks good to go, so just before I forget, let's go ahead, pop out the map. And go ahead and turn on the data so we could see some information on this ILS approach. So we're going to get out our radio as well and make sure everything matches up. 110.9, 110.9. We're going to go ahead and do it at a heading of 351. And that should automatically kick into GPS system when we get in range. But right now looks like we are good to go, and we are cruising 11,000. Cool, so I will fast forward this part and I will see you guys when we are on the descent. So we are about halfway to Lihue from Honolulu. I just wanted to take this time and kind of talk and introduce myself a little bit, since this is going to be my first little flight sim video. Kind of explain what I'm about, what my goal is and stuff with this. My name's Javon. I'm from Southern California. I just recently got into aviation. I would say it's been about a year. I started getting into it with the RC hobby. I had those little helicopters that I flew around all the time, and it was pretty cool. Got to fly around those little RC helicopters for a little bit, and then I eventually worked my way up to the RC airplanes. And I watched these guys on YouTube a bunch called Flight Test or something like that. And what they did is they built their own stuff all the time with foam boards. So I thought that was a pretty killer idea. So I just went to the dollar store and grabbed some foam board and built my own kind of like a Piper Cub model. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's super simple aircraft, super simple looking as well. They use it a lot. It's been around a long time. It's been around since like the 1950s, I think. But yeah, that was my favorite little plane. I used to watch Bush pilots all the time, and it's a plane that they used all the time was a Piper Cub. So I made my own little model of it and flew that around, and it really got me interested in aviation. And then I started looking at flight sim videos on YouTube and stuff like that, and I thought that was super cool. I didn't really know that flight sim was a thing. I knew that flying was a thing for sure, like duh. But I've never really heard of a flight simulator. I've heard of like a truck simulator. I've heard of like flying an airplane in GTA 5, which I used to do all the time. I thought that was super fun. But after watching a couple of these flight sim videos, I really thought it was super rad, and I thought flying was super rad, and it got me loving like aviation and wanting to become a pilot. Like totally shifted my view on pilots and gave me like a whole new respect for them. After gaining this new respect for aviation and pilots and wanting to become a pilot, I decided to play these flight sims, and I had this one flight sim called GOFS. It was a pretty cool flight sim. It's a browser-based flight sim. It has a lot of aircraft that you could fly. The graphics are they could be better, but it's all based on like it just pretty much uses like the Google Maps imaging, like the satellite imaging off Google Maps. And that got me into like learning how to fly on the simulator. And then I downloaded FlightGear and started flying aircraft like this, and I thought it was super rad. So I started flying, started messing up a bunch, but of course you gotta mess up to learn. Like probably gonna mess up here if I don't descend fast enough, but we'll get it. We'll descend at a good rate. We'll go ahead and start slowing down. I'll stop yapping. Long story short, this is just me recording me flying and learning how to fly in these jumbo jets, because one day I want to become a pilot, and we'll see. We're going to go ahead and descend to 210. We're going to go ahead and descend pretty quick here because I want to make sure that I'm at 3,000 3,000 feet when I get to the geolocator, so I could do auto approach. So we'll go ahead and slowing down slowly but surely. We got auto throttles on. Gonna go ahead and descend. Everything is looking good from out here. Oh yeah, we should be just fine. It's kind of creeping up close, but we should be fine. We'll go ahead and slow down just a little bit more. Go ahead and do 190 on that. We'll wait to slow down until we dump some, and then we'll dump some flaps. Alright, let's go ahead and descend a little bit more. We're at 4,000, so we're looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up so we could start decreasing and throwing some flaps down. Oof, let's not get that noise. But let's go ahead and throw the flaps down. Okay, so we're at 3.5, so we can go ahead, get this back to normal. And then we could slow our roll because we are coming in pretty hot at the moment. Go ahead and bank to the right. Gonna go ahead and switch to the APP mode, auto approach. Let that kick in. We're now slowing down, so we're gonna dump some more flaps. Slow down just a little bit more. Cool. It's gonna get the airplane slowed down, and we have caught our glide slope localizer and our horizontal localizer. Let's go ahead and slow down to our approach speed. I'm gonna set it for 142 and see how that does her. Go ahead and set the auto brakes to 2. Gear down. Go ahead and get a shot of that. Go ahead and dump the rest of the flaps down as well. Hop back in the cockpit. Everything is going smoothly so far. Slow down just a little bit more. That should be just fine. Cool, and we'll just ride the glide slope on in. It does say we have a bit of a wind, but that's totally fine. We'll negotiate. Hopefully we'll get this landing for the first video. We do have our land 3, so that means that it will do everything for me. It will flare. I just gotta manage everything and make sure everything looks good from here. Everything's looking pretty good.
1,000.
Hitting the 1,000 mark, coming in to Lahui, Kauai, Hawaii.
6,400 feet available.
Approaching 3.5, right, as you just heard. We're gonna go ahead and exit left when we touch down as well.
$500.
500 feet remaining. Everything is looking good.
400. 300. Minimums. 200.
We go ahead, commit. Everything looks good.
100.
It's gonna go ahead and
50,
flare out.
40, 30, 20, 10.
I'm gonna add a little bit of rudder.
5,000 feet remaining.
And that was
4,000 feet remaining.
pretty good. Other than almost going off the runway, that was pretty good.
3,000 feet remaining.
I noticed that the auto land on this sometimes, I don't know if it's something that I just haven't figured out quite yet,
2,000 feet
but I
remaining.
noticed that the auto land on these tends to do that sometimes on the landings. But we'll go ahead and get pulled off over here. We'll hold, and then we'll go ahead and look at the landing and see how it looked. And we have touchdown in Kauai, Hawaii, in Lihue, in the Garden Isle, the honeymoon island as well. So let's go ahead and set our parking brake. Let's go ahead and bring all of our flaps in too. Step out of the cockpit. Cool. So I would say that was pretty successful for the most part, other than slightly shitting myself on the landing, but we'll ignore it and call it a success. So let's go and look at the
Display active.
instant
Press to stop.
replay. We're just gonna have to deal with that annoying flashing light,
500,
but we'll see. Says we're coming up on the 500 mark.
400, 300, minimums, 200, 100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10,
5,000 feet remaining.
That looked pretty good to
5,000
me.
feet remaining.
There you go. Well,
3,000 feet
there you
remaining.
have it. That was our flight in the Boeing 777 FedEx
2,000
freighter
feet remaining.
from Honolulu to Lihue, all in the beautiful state of Hawaii. I want to thank you for coming along and flying with me today. If you did stay this long, really means a lot if you did. If you want, go ahead and drop a like and comment, and yeah, I'll see what it does, because I'm new to this YouTube stuff, so we'll see. But that was the first flight, recorded flight in the Boeing 777 on this account. Hopefully we'll see more. Alright, have a good one, guys.